So, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury just came out. It's an enhanced port of Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U released in 2013. Now, I'm sure most of you knew that. However, there's some things that you guys probably don't know. That's why I'm here, and I'm gonna tell you today 19 new things that were added to Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury on the Nintendo Switch that you probably maybe didn't notice. I really kind of hope you didn't notice these, because then this video is kind of obsolete and kind of pointless, but you know, let's start anyway. First up is the character's movement speed. They drastically increased every character's movement speed by like a decent amount. Like probably maybe close to twice as fast. Like here's a little comparison of how fast Luigi is in normal 3D World compared to how he is now. It is actually insane. Some people say it's too fast, and I am one of those people. I think it's a little too fast. It makes jumps a little too easier, and in 1-4 in Plessy's level, you're normally supposed to use a dash panel to get to the golden flag, but you literally don't even need it. You can jump over it, and with the speed, you can just jump straight to the top of the flag. Number 2, one of my favorite changes that they added was the mid-air roll or the dive. This adds so much tech to the movement. It is insane. It is so cool. It's so fluid. It works brilliantly. You can do it at like, you can do the middle roll, and then when you land, you can proceed to do a rolling long jump. I think it's like the short one, but it's still like movement. It is so clean. It's great, and I love the inclusion. Number 3, keeping your collectibles after you die. So in most Mario games and other platformers with collectibles, after you get a collectible and die, you normally lose it unless you hit a checkpoint. However, that's not the case in Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, because you can get a green star, then instantly die and go back to the start of the level, but you'll still have that green star or stamp. I actually hate this inclusion a lot. It kind of makes things a little too easy, and there's no risk to getting a green star. Like you could just suicide for a green star and you have like 800 lives or something, and you can just suicide for it and there's no punishment whatsoever. I wish you could turn this off, but that's just not a thing. But it is a change that they made, and I can see people liking it. Number 4, ground pounding and rolling into pipes. This is something they added in Odyssey, and I really liked it there, and I'm really glad that they brought it over here. You can actually roll straight into pipe or ground pound into pipes, and it plays a different animation. It just kind of goes like shoo, and then you go for it. It's kind of nice. Number 5 is the touch controls with a controller. So in the Wii U version, you're expected to have a gamepad beside you at all times. There were certain levels designed around you tapping the gamepad and activating certain things. However, there is no gamepad on the Switch, and you can't expect people to pull the Switch out in handheld mode and try to play it even when you're playing in multiplayer. That's just not a thing. So they added the feature where you hit the R button on your controller, and it brings up a cursor with your character's icon on it. With that, you can tap R or hold R, and it'll act as you're touching the gamepad or holding the gamepad. It's used for stunning enemies and activating platforms and seeing invisible blocks. It's kind of cool. I really like the inclusion. It's pretty slick. The try again option. Now this is something you'd probably expect to be in the older game, but it actually wasn't. This try again function was added in this port specifically. It's pretty self-explanatory what it does. You're in a level, you pause, you hit try again, and boom, you're at the start of the level. The save file system. So in this game, when you launch it, you start off on the title screen and it just says new game or continue. I think it's probably just new game because, you know, yeah. But in the other one, you would hit start and then it would show you 3 save files. That's not the case in this one. It just throws you straight into the game. Some people were worried that you could only have 1 save file per user, which would be whack. But that's not the case. You can actually go into the pause menu, go down to save file, and you can actually just do it all from there. When you hit new game on the title screen now, it'll make a new save file for you, and it'll go ahead and just add it to the list. You can still copy save files by being on the save file that you're currently on and saving it to an empty slot. So all the features are still there. You just gotta dig up just a little bit. It's not too bad though. It's like Odyssey. The colored stamps. It's so whack that this wasn't a thing before, but I guess it's because of Miiverse, I guess. But now when you get the stamp collectibles on the stamp screen, they're actually colored in. It's so whack that this wasn't in the Wii U version. It's such a thing that you would never, you just assume like, yeah, no, this is probably in the original version if you never played it, but no, it's great and I love it. It's just crazy how it wasn't there to begin with. Co-op in Captain Toad. So in the Wii U version, Captain Toad levels were strictly single player. You had to use it on the gamepad and everyone else was just sitting there waiting for you to finish so you can get back to the fun. However, that is not the case anymore with the new touch controls with the R button. Now 4 people can join in the Captain Toad stage and it's crazy. Upscaled resolution. So this is something that people really don't notice a lot, and it's really something like, I mean, out of all the people I talk to, I'm the only one who really cares about it. Yeah, but this version supports 1080p at 60 frames a second, while the older Wii U version was only 720p at 60 FPS. Now it goes down to 720p 60 FPS when you're in handheld mode, but like that's honestly, I think that's the case with most Switch games. Remove the blowing mechanic. So in Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, the Wii U gamepad actually had a microphone that was never used. Like it was used, but no one cared, and you can blow into it or just scream into it, I guess. And you can actually get platforms in this game and blow enemies away, but the platforms can go up and shoot around, but they removed that entirely considering the Switch doesn't have any microphone capabilities whatsoever. So they replaced it with just slow-moving platforms, and honestly, that's fine. No one cares. Skipping cutscenes. This is something that's well needed in Super Mario 3D World because starting new save files in that game is what people do. It just happens. And not being able to skip the opening cutscene was honestly a pain, but now that they added that feature in the top right, everything is great and quick and snappy. You can just hit plus or minus and you'll skip past any cutscene in the game. It's great. I just realized I stopped saying the numbers. Anyway, number 13, improved cat climbing. So they changed a bunch of stuff with the movement in this game, and it's not a big deal. It's not like a huge difference, but you do climb a little higher in this game with the cat suit, just a little bit. I think it's like maybe a block difference. It's not a lot. I honestly didn't notice it until I went back and compared it side by side at the same place, and it does seem like you can go higher. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Number 14, movement while saving. This isn't a big deal at all, but in the Wii U version, after you beat a level, when you hopped out, you were stuck to a saving screen. Now it just auto saves in the bottom left real quick, and there's no confirmation, and you can move while it's happening, and it's slick, faster, and clean. Number 15, holding items. So you were able to hold items in Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U. That's no surprise to anyone. However, they did change the controls for it. Before, you used to have to hold the run button, and the second you let go of it, you throw your item. However, that's no longer the case. You can run up to it with the run button, and if you let go of the run button now, you actually won't throw it. This applies to shells and baseballs and other things that you can grab in this game, including players, honestly. Now, personally, I don't like this change that much, but it's definitely, I think it's probably a good idea. I think most people aren't too comfortable with running all the time and don't want to run with when they're holding a shell necessarily. So like, I think it's a nice option to be able to walk while you're holding something. Number 16, snapshot mode. This is a clean inclusion that's pretty much like a staple now in most AAA titles. Being able to go into the camera and just move around, it's clean. You can change the filters and all this stuff, and it's actually super nice. You can zoom in so far and get crisp cutouts of each model. It is nice. The only real downside I've seen in this whole thing is that you can't use it in multiplayer at all. It makes sense that you can't use it online and local wireless, I guess, but why not local offline? I don't see the problem. Like, if you're all sitting beside each other and someone hits the snapshot button, you could be able to pose multiple people and do funny things. I don't really know why they took this out. It's like not even possible. I don't really get it. Honestly, kind of a downside, a little bit of a disappointment, but amiibo support. I don't have any amiibos, but you can scan them and get power-ups. They showed it in the trailer. It's kind of cool. No gyro support on Captain Toad and the SPRIXIES. So in the Wii U version, you had a gamepad or Wiimote or Pro Controller, whatever, and you can tilt your controller around to see the camera when you got near a SPRIXIE or when you're in a Captain Toad level. However, that is no longer the case. You cannot tilt the controller, or you cannot tilt it in handheld mode to move around the camera in Captain Toad levels or see the different camera angles with the SPRIXIE. And last but not least, I mentioned it earlier, number 19, online multiplayer. This has been something that needs to be included in every Mario game from this point forward. Being able to play with your friends online is truly a blessing. Especially in the state of the world right now, we can't always be going over to our friend's house to go play some Mario with them. We gotta have an alternative. So now on the map screen, you can hit the R button and it'll bring up online play, and you can go ahead and connect to your friends. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can set a passcode or you cannot set a passcode. Doesn't really matter to me. I don't care what you do. It's definitely more playable than I thought, to be honest, but you definitely are gonna need like stable connections between everyone playing to have a pretty one-to-one experience with the local. The only downside is that you can't play with random people, and it's really a bummer. I was looking forward to it like a lot, but you just can't play. You're stuck to playing with your friends. I kind of don't get why you can't play with random people. Like, I guess you can't communicate with them, and you, like, I don't know. You can play with random people in Mario Kart. You can play with random people in Super Mario Maker too. So why can't you play with random people in Mario 3D World? Like, it might be to stop trolling or whatever, because it's pretty much a co-op progression game, but like, you can just leave, or if you're worried about trolls, just play with your friends. Like, I don't really see the harm of having the option there. But Nintendo's horrible with options, so you know, it's honestly to be expected at this point. And those are 19 new changes that were added to Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. If I missed anything, let me know in the comment section down below, and if I've missed a lot, then maybe I'll do a part 2. I don't think I missed too much, but we'll see.